So here's what you can see. I'm going to show you how it's done. This is the actual pool of the mikvah.
Right.
The way that the mikvah was built, in order for a mikvah to be kosher, it needs to have pure rainwater. Pure rainwater. So there's different ways to build a mikvah. The way that we're building it is like this. Here's a pipe. I'm going to show you soon. This pipe is coming all the way from the roof. 6 floors. It goes through 6 floors all the way to the roof. There's an area that was built specifically for the mikvah on the roof. I'm going to show you soon. That's exclusively just to catch rain. And what happens is the rain is caught upstairs, comes down through this pipe, comes through here, and goes down into the mikvah. Where does it go? Because you don't want to go into the rainwater, because the rainwater is cold. Sometimes it's not so clean. So what happens is, the way that this mikvah is built, which is the most mehudar way to build a mikvah, is that it's built one pool on top of another pool. So you can see this pool here, I can go inside it. It's the size of this, and this is going to be full, all that is going to be full of rainwater. The rainwater is going to fill this entire mikvah up, the bottom mikvah.
Okay.
It's going to overflow a little bit.
Okay.
And then we're going to turn on the tap. Once it's full, we're going to turn the tap on, which is over there. It's
Right.
going to come down here. Right here underneath this step is where the tap water comes in. And it goes directly into the bottom pool as well. And together we'll fill up the mikvah.
Okay. So you
So when
shut
you're
off the
going
rainwater?
we'll shut it off as soon as it fills. When you go into the mikvah, when the woman goes into the mikvah, she's actually going into tap water. But the tap water is so connected to the rainwater, and it's touching the rainwater the entire time, that you're actually, according to halacha, you're actually going into the rainwater. Except, this water is always going to be hot, and it's going to be clean. We're never going to touch the water at the bottom. It's always going to be rainwater. This water is going to be a filter that's going to clean it constantly and heat it. Obviously, you can't go into the mikvah while the filter's on, because the water needs to be still. But when not in use, it's going to be cleaning and it's going to be heated. And I was Jewish, right? And we spoke about building a mikvah for a long time, and he said, I'm building this building, and we'll make a space there. So I bought the space from him. Originally, he wanted to build the building, sponsor the mikvah, do the whole thing for us. And then COVID came, and he didn't make as much money as he thought he was going to make on the building, this and that. So basically, he said, I'm going to give the project over to you. You'll buy the place from me, you'll raise money for it, but at least you'll have a space.
Right.
It rains every single summer in Puerto Vallarta, almost every day. Starting from July, it just rains. So we know that rain is not a problem for us. Some places in California, there's drought, there's not enough rain, so they don't fill the mikvah too often.
Right.
We can fill the mikvah pretty often. They built this, you can see, this is how they built it.
Once you build it once, do you need to build it again?
Build what once?
Once you fill it up with water, rainwater
Technically, you don't have to fill it up that often. But what happens is the rainwater, it starts to collect the dirt, the bodily things. It gets dirty. So you want to keep it fresh. So generally, you would change the water at least once a year, once every 2 years, depending on the mikvah. But it's kosher if you don't change it as well. But for cleanliness, it's the best.
Yeah.
So this was just built, was just put in. On top is a granite piece. I'm going to show you the picture.
Yeah, I have the video of it. Okay.
Oh, you can get it up there. You see it. It's a granite piece. It has to be granite because metal is mekabel tuma, which is a problem. The water needs to come into the mikveh without going into any vessel. It has to go in without touching anything else that would make it problematic. So there's a granite sheet up there which is sloped towards this corner, and the water will just rain. This would probably take a week, maybe a little less, for the rain to collect and fill up that entire mikveh. The mikveh is like maybe 1,200 liters, something like that.
And he ran the whole thing just for the mikvah.
When they built the building, they built it with this inside of it. They knew that they're making a mikveh when they built the building.
Oh, wow.
So they put this in originally. This was one of the first things that was in the building.
Great.
And he knows like you know, like I know, that mikvah is the foundation of the Jewish family. And when a person supports a mikvah, the blessings that come from it. He told me, he was always the developer of the building. His name is Ariel, a wonderful person, and he always wanted to be involved in building a mikvah. He actually was very helpful in getting us making this happen. Almost exactly a year ago. It was last year that he started putting up the building. That he started kind of finishing the building and putting in the area for the mikvah. We actually poured the concrete for the mikvah at the end of December 2021.
So do you have all the money raised for it? What's the deal?
No. So right now we have, like you see on the website, there's exactly a little more than 80,000 that's raised, $81,000 raised. To build the mikvah is $197,500.
Wow.
A little close to $200,000. Why does it cost so much money?
Why is it so expensive?
So, in order to build a mikvah, it's a very complicated process halachically, and therefore, you need to make sure that the way that you're building it is built all according to halacha. So every step of the way, we need to bring down a rabbi.
Okay.
So already 5 times a rabbi came down here, different rabbis, to check, to make sure if you make it one step off, you could make
Right.
the mikvah pasul. Right? So actually last week there was a rabbi here. He checked all the different parts, and we had 3 problems with the mikvah that would make it not good. Interestingly, one of them was when the water came in, the way that they made the pipe was going up a little bit. So there was a place where the water was being held when it came in.
It's not like flowing
That's a
there.
problem because
then you'd have to move the water.
Because that's called a keli, that's called a vessel. And water that's going through that makes the water unusable for the mikvah. Right? So small things like that always have to be checked. Truthfully, the actual cost of building the mikvah is about $140,000, exact, más o menos, $150,000. And together with that, we put in the maintenance of the mikvah for the next 4 to 5 years, about $80,000 already. So, and we have some pledges. $10,000 from this person, $18,000 from that person. So we're waiting for some pledges to come in. And yeah, we probably need to raise another $30,000, $40,000 to make sure that the mikvah happens. So
Are you going to charge for the mikvah?
We probably will charge. I don't know what the going rate is, but whatever the regular going rate is, something. I mean, we won't charge locals to use the mikvah, probably because we're trying to push them to use the mikvah. It's probably not something that they want to do. It's something that we need to convince them to do.
Right.
But yeah, I assume we'll probably charge the mikvah something. I don't know what the going rate is, but we shall find out as time goes on. But realistically, I'm hoping to finish the mikvah before the first rainfall this year.
Which is
Right now, it's middle April, May, June.
If you had
2.5 months.
If you had all the
about the beginning of July.
If you had all the money, how
I
long?
think if we had all the money, we could finish probably within 4 to 6 weeks the mikvah.
Oh wow.